Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a question. How many of you believe success needs to be loud, flashy, announced on every social media platform before it even arrives? Let me tell you something that might sting a little. Success is not in the spotlight. True success doesn't post selfies while it's grinding. It doesn't scream for attention. It works in silence, grows in silence, and one day it stuns the world with its results. Here's why you need to hear this message. Right now, some of you are working, building, dreaming, but you're frustrated because the world doesn't see it yet. I'm here to tell you, keep going. Watch this till the end, and I'll show you why the silence you're in right now is the best thing that's ever happened to you. Main body. The power of silence. Success grows like a seed. Think about it. You don't see the roots forming underground, but they're there, deep and strong, getting ready to support the tallest tree. Your silence is your roots. It's the foundation. Discipline over display. Some of you are distracted, not by failure, but by the noise. You're too busy telling people what you're going to do instead of doing it. Real success isn't concerned with applause. It's concerned with results. The danger of noise. Let's talk about distractions. Every time you check for likes, every time you seek validation, you're pulling energy away from your work. You're robbing yourself of the focus you need. Noise is the enemy of growth. Consistency and quiet. This is where champions are made, not in the arena, but in the shadows. You have to show up every day, do the work, and trust the process, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching. The role of patience. Listen, nothing great ever grew overnight. You can't rush a harvest and you can't rush success. Those quiet moments of struggle, that's your success in the making. Action over announcement. Stop announcing your plan. Stop waiting for applause before you even start. Let your results make the noise. When success comes, let people be shocked, not because you were loud, but because you were unstoppable. The power of private wins. Celebrate in silence. Every small win is a step forward. Stack those wins privately, and one day they'll add up to something so big, no one can ignore it. Let me leave you with this. Your silence is not a setback. It's a setup for something greater. So the next time you feel like the world isn't watching, remember that's your superpower. While they're busy talking, you're busy building. Now go out there, embrace the quiet, and let your success grow. When it blooms, the world will have no choice but to notice. Now, let me ask you this. Which side are you on? We've been conditioned to believe that success needs to be loud, that it requires constant validation, applause, and recognition at every step. Social media, society, even our own egos tell us, if people don't see it, it doesn't matter. But that's a lie. The greatest transformations, the most extraordinary successes happen away from the spotlight. Think of the seed buried in the ground. When it's first planted, there's no fanfare. No one gathers around to cheer it on. In fact, it's in complete darkness, hidden from the world. And yet, what's happening in that silence? Roots are forming. Strength is building. Everything it needs to become unstoppable is happening where no one can see. That's exactly what success is. It's not the showy, dramatic moments everyone claps for. It's the grind behind closed doors, the hours spent honing your craft, the failures that no one knows about but teach you everything. So why do we get so caught up in being seen? Why do we let the fear of invisibility hold us back? Because we confuse visibility with progress. We think being noticed equals winning. But the truth is, the loudest voices are often the emptiest. The real champions are too busy working to shout about it. And here's the most important part: when you work in silence, you're unstoppable. You're not distracted by opinions, likes, or followers. Your energy goes exactly where it needs to into your growth. So I ask you again, are you standing in that field shouting? Or are you letting your roots grow deep in silence? The choice is yours. But let me tell you this, the tree will always outlast the noise. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you really paid attention to silence? Not just the absence of noise, but the kind of silence where focus thrives, where clarity sharpens, and where you hear the voice that truly matters, your own. That's the silence I'm talking about. It's not empty. It's alive. It's where success begins. See, the world we live in today is obsessed with the loudest voices, the flashiest displays, the biggest announcements. But let me tell you something powerful. While the crowd chases the spotlight, the real work happens in the shadows. Success doesn't need a megaphone. It doesn't crave validation. It thrives when you block out the noise and lock in on what really matters. It's in the quiet grind at 5 a.m. when the rest of the world is asleep. It's in the late nights when the distractions are gone and it's just you and your dreams. In silence, you don't just work, you transform. You find out who you really are, what you're really capable of, and what you truly want. It's where breakthroughs happen, where the vision becomes clear, and where the foundation of greatness is laid. Silence isn't weakness. It's power. It's focus. And most of all, it's freedom, the freedom to build without interference, to grow without judgment, and to succeed without limits. That's why silence is not just where success grows, it's where it begins. Picture this: a farmer plants a seed in the soil. For weeks, maybe even months, there's nothing to show for it. No sprouts, no visible progress. To the untrained eye, it looks like nothing is happening. But under the surface, where no one can see, that seed is transforming. Its roots are digging deep, finding the strength it will need to break through the soil and grow into something magnificent. That's exactly how success works. It starts in the unseen, in the quiet moments where no one is cheering you on. It's not glamorous. It's not broadcasted. It's messy, lonely, and often thankless. But just like that seed, all the real work, the foundation for greatness, is happening out of sight. Here's the beauty of it. The deeper the roots grow in silence, the stronger the growth will be when it finally breaks through. It's the quiet commitment to the process, the discipline to keep nurturing your dream even when there's no immediate reward, that sets the stage for something extraordinary. So if you feel like nothing is happening right now, if you feel like the world doesn't see your efforts, know that you're in the growing phase. Success isn't always visible at first, but when it does show up, it's undeniable. Just like that seed, your silent work today will become the towering tree of tomorrow. Let me be real with you. Too many people are more interested in looking successful than actually being successful. They spend their time crafting an image, talking about their plans, and seeking approval from everyone around them. But here's the truth: while they're busy putting on a show, the real work isn't getting done. True success doesn't need an audience. It doesn't crave attention. It thrives in the moments when no one's watching, when it's just you, your grind, and your vision. It's in those quiet hours where discipline replaces distraction and progress becomes the only focus. Think about it. The people who achieve the most are the ones who don't waste their energy trying to prove it to anyone else. They're not concerned with showing off their potential. They're too busy living up to it. They don't broadcast every step they take because they understand that the only validation that matters comes from results, not applause. And here's the kicker: discipline over display doesn't just make you more productive, it makes you unstoppable. Why? Because when you're focused on the work instead of the recognition, you're free. Free from judgment, free from comparison, and free to grow in ways most people never will. So ask yourself this: are you building your dream or are you building a display? The choice you make will define not just how far you go, but how strong you stand when you get there. Let's talk about the trap most people fall into: the noise. You know what I mean? The constant distractions, the endless scrolling, the opinions of people who have no stake in your success. It's everywhere, and it's pulling your focus away from where it needs to be. Here's the thing about noise: it feels urgent, but it's empty. It tricks you into thinking you're connected, that you're staying relevant, but in reality, it's stealing your energy. Every time you check your phone to see who liked your post, every time you get caught up comparing yourself to someone else's highlight reel, you're losing time you could have spent building your own legacy. The worst part: noise doesn't just distract you, it dilutes your vision. It makes you second guess yourself, question your progress, and wonder if you're doing enough because you're measuring yourself against a world that's just as lost in the noise as you are. But let me tell you something powerful: silence is the antidote to noise. When you step away from the distractions, when you stop worrying about what everyone else thinks, you reclaim your focus. You put all that energy back where it belongs: on your goals, your growth, your grind. The noise will always be there, but it's not your job to listen to it. Your job is to block it out, lock in, and let your work do the talking. Because at the end of the day, success doesn't come to the loudest. It comes to the most disciplined. Let me tell you what separates the dreamers from the doers: consistency. Not the kind of consistency that's flashy or for show, but the kind that happens in the quiet. It's the ability to show up day after day, even when there's no applause, no recognition, and no one cheering you on. Here's the truth: the moments when no one's watching are the moments that define you. Anybody can show up when the lights are on and the crowd is clapping, but the real work happens in the dark. It's in the grind that doesn't get posted, the small, deliberate actions that compound over time into something extraordinary. Consistency in quiet is powerful because it builds a habit of discipline. It trains you to rely on your own drive instead of external motivation. It teaches you to keep going when the excitement fades and the work gets hard. That's where success grows, not in the bursts of energy, but in the steady rhythm of effort, day in and day out. And here's what most people don't understand: when you're consistent in the quiet, you're building something that lasts. It's not about quick wins or temporary results. It's about laying the foundation for a legacy, something so strong and unshakable that when it finally reveals itself, no one can ignore it. So, don't stop because no one's watching. Don't give up because progress feels slow. Keep showing up. Keep doing the work. Because every step you take in silence is bringing you closer to the success that speaks for itself. Patience. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. But let me tell you this, it's the secret ingredient to every great success story you've ever heard. We live in a world that glorifies speed. People want overnight results, instant recognition, and success that comes without struggle. But here's the truth: anything that comes quickly is rarely worth having. Real success takes time. It demands patience to endure the grind, to trust the process, and to keep going even when the results aren't visible yet. Think about how nature works. You don't plant a seed and expect a tree the next day. You water it, nurture it, and give it time to grow. It's the same with your dreams. The work you're putting in now, even if it feels like nothing is happening, is laying the foundation for something incredible. Patience isn't passive, it's active. It's choosing to keep working, to keep believing, even when the world says, why bother? It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing that the time you invest today will pay off tomorrow, as long as you stay consistent. The hardest part, it's waiting in the silence. It's resisting the urge to rush the process or look for shortcuts. But let me remind you, shortcuts lead to fragile success. Patience builds something unbreakable. So when you're tempted to quit because the results haven't shown up yet, remember this: the strongest things take time to grow. Your patience isn't a delay, it's a preparation for the greatness that's coming. Keep going because your time is closer than you think. When you act instead of announce, you free yourself from expectations. You're not wasting time managing perceptions or proving yourself to others. You're focused on the work, and that's where all your power is. Think of it this way: when a lion hunts, it doesn't roar first. It moves quietly, strategically, and with purpose. The results speak for themselves. Your approach to success should be no different. Stop telling people what you're going to achieve. Let them see it when it's done. Every moment spent talking about your plans is a moment taken away from executing them. Every time you announce your next big move, you're giving away energy that could be used to make it happen. The loudest person in the room is rarely the one doing the most work. So here's the challenge: be quiet about your grind. Let your results speak so loudly that the world has no choice but to pay attention. Success isn't about announcements, it's about outcomes. Make sure yours are undeniable. There's a kind of power that comes with private wins, a power most people overlook. In a world where everyone is quick to share every milestone, every step of their journey, holding something back for yourself feels revolutionary. But here's the truth: those private victories, they're the building blocks of lasting success. When you keep your wins to yourself, even just for a little while, you create a space where you can truly appreciate them. You're not seeking external validation or applause, you're celebrating what matters to you. That's where the real confidence comes from, not from likes or comments, but from knowing you're making progress on your own terms. Private wins also give you momentum. When you achieve something and don't feel the need to broadcast it, you're not slowing down to wait for approval. You're stacking those victories one after another, building a foundation so strong that when it's time to reveal it, the world will have no choice but to take notice. And let's be honest, the world doesn't need to know every move you make. Sometimes the best strategy is to keep them guessing. Let them see the results, not the process. Because while they're busy watching, you're busy winning quietly, consistently, and powerfully. Remember this, every private win is a step closer to your ultimate goal. Celebrate them for yourself. Honor the work you've put in. And when the time comes to unveil what you've built, the impact will speak for itself. That's the power of private victories. They prepare you for public greatness. Let me leave you with this: silence is not a sign of weakness, it's the ultimate demonstration of strength. The world wants you to be loud, to seek attention, to always be on display. But I'm telling you, the real power lies in the quiet moments. It's the moments when no one is watching, when no one is applauding, when it's just you and your ambition. That's when your true success is forged. The loudest voices in the room are often the ones with the least to say. They shout to fill the space, to create noise. But the most powerful individuals, they're the ones who let their actions speak louder than words. They show up every day, do the work, and allow their results to make the noise for them. So, don't be discouraged by the silence. Don't doubt your progress just because it's not being celebrated yet. You are building something solid, something real, something that will stand the test of time. And when the world finally sees it, they won't be able to deny the quiet strength that made it possible. I challenge you to embrace the silence. Let it fuel your focus, your discipline, your growth. Don't rush to be seen. When the time comes, your success will be undeniable. It will speak for itself. And when that day comes, you'll stand tall, knowing that the quiet work you've done in the shadows is what made it all possible. So go out there, make your move in silence, and let your success be the loudest thing in the room.